Minnesota Governor Tim Walz was grilled during a fiery congressional hearing about sanctuary states. A recap of the testimony with Congressman Jim Jordan next. U.S. Representative Jim Jordan, a Republican from Ohio. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you bet. Good to be with you.
You know, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee held a hearing on Thursday. Many contentious moments as committee members sought answers on sanctuary state policies in New York, Illinois, and Minnesota. Overall, what was your takeaway from the hearing, Congressman?
Well, sanctuary policy is just stupid. There's no way to explain this idea that, oh, we're going to have local law enforcement, local officials not work with federal law enforcement when federal law enforcement is trying to enforce federal law. It makes no sense. And the best examples are when local law enforcement has someone that they have in custody for allegedly doing some crime, stealing something, robbing something, whatever, some crime. They have them in custody. ICE will find out that, oh, this person is in custody and they're here illegally. So they will send what's called a detainer to the jail, to the local officials, and say, hey, if you're going to release this individual, can you give us 48 hours heads up? Can you just let us know so we'll come and arrest this guy, keep them in detention because they need to be sent back to their native country? And what sanctuary policy says is, no, we're not going to work with you. We're not going to give you a heads up. We actually have forms from certain jurisdictions where they stamp on there, release to the streets. They will release them to the streets and make ICE, federal law enforcement, go find this individual in the streets. Again, makes no sense, no common sense. It's just a dumb policy that endangers the public, endangers the safety of law enforcement when they have to go out and find this individual in the streets, and just as importantly, endangers the migrant safety. We had a situation in Denver where the migrant was injured and a ICE official was hurt as well, when they could have just put handcuffs on him in the jail, but no, they had to go find him on the street.
You know, there were a few telling moments that focused on Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. During the hearing, Walz said that Minnesota is not a sanctuary state. If you look around here, though, in Minnesota, you find free college tuition for illegals, health care, driver's licenses for all, paid work leave. What did you think about what Walz had to say Thursday?
The left always gets it wrong, and this is Tim Walz now is, unfortunately, just part of the left. I still remember the situation or the comments a few years ago when Sarah Huckabee Sanders did the response to Joe Biden's State of the Union. And I thought she did a great job, but her best line, I thought, was when she said, the divide in America today is normal versus crazy. And it's true. The left has adopted every crazy position. The left says we're going to defund the police. The left says we're not going to have a border. We saw that under Joe Biden. 4 years of just open border. The left says we're going to give your tax dollars to illegal migrants for all kinds of things. The left says we're not going to work with federal law enforcement. It's just crazy policy after crazy policy. And unfortunately, Tim Walz has embraced that in your state. And so it again makes no sense. You can go down the leftist says it's fine for men to compete against women in sports. The left says it's okay to let a Chinese spy balloon fly clear across the country and then shoot it down. I'm just a country boy from Ohio. I'd have probably shot it down before it went across the country. I think you would have too. Anyone with common sense would. But all the left's position, they always get it backwards. They always get it wrong. And unfortunately, it's the left that now controls one of the major political parties, and it's sad. But I think the vast majority of the American people do have common sense. They've figured it out, and they know these policies aren't working.
Yeah, on that note, pretty eye-opening. Walz did not take his comments comparing ICE agents back. When he compared ICE agents to the Gestapo, he couldn't even answer the what is a woman question during the hearing as well. But along with Governor Walz, you also questioned New York Governor Kathy Hochul. She didn't have much to say when you tried to get answers. Watch this.
Was Tompkins County wrong in the actions they took on January 25th, 2025, when they wouldn't hold the guy for 1 hour and 18 minutes?
Those are not the policies that we would have in the state of New York. Those are not the policies we would have in
Were they wrong? Should they have turned that guy over to ICE? It's a simple question, Governor.
That was a horrible situation. The person should not have been out there.
It's a horrible situation, but it's a yes or no question.
It is a response that this is a locality.
Do you agree or
in the
disagree?
state of New York,
Agree or
the person
disagree?
should have been held.
Yes or no?
The person should have been held, and in the state of New York, we would have turned him over. That is in conflict with what we would do as a state
appreciate
with
the chair's
respect to
indulgence. I
prison.
yield back.
And I want to know why ICE won't come and pick up the individuals who have served time in our state. I have cases where they have not even shown
Governor,
up.
a court order and a detainer for a guy who did the things Mr. Hernandez did, and Tompkins County can't hold him an hour and 18 minutes, and you won't say that's wrong?
I have said we cooperate when there's a criminal case where someone has committed a
This is
crime. We
sanctuary
turn them
policy.
over.
This is sanctuary policy in a nutshell. You won't even
You're
condemn something that anyone
mischaracterizing.
with common sense knows is ridiculous.
Later, Hochul admitted that she didn't even know how many illegals are in her state or how much money they're getting from taxpayers. That's something Governor Walz could not answer either on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is today's left. They want to embrace just all the radical policy. I always say I don't think all Democrats are crazy, but the left that controls their party is, and you can see it in the positions they take. And I think they were trying to survive the hearing because they couldn't give just the common sense answer because they're afraid of offending the left. So they're going to try to just get through it as best they can. And I think that's what you saw, frankly, from all three governors, from your governor in Minnesota, Tim Walz, from Pritzker, and from Governor Hochul in New York.
Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison has said law enforcement in our state risks significant civil liability if they enforce immigration detainers. The city of Minneapolis and the Minneapolis Police Department have basically written their own rules. They've told the public it will not help enforce U.S. law. Will something happen at the federal level now to change any of this?
Well, I think the Justice Department is looking at challenging some of these actions taken by states. You'll see that particular avenue could be used. But frankly, probably the best leverage we have to actually get people to embrace common sense, behavior is the power of the purse. We're the legislative branch. We're the ones that all taxing bills and spending bills. We deal with that. So when it comes to federal grant dollars, federal money going to these local jurisdictions, maybe we need to say your sanctuary policy. You have sanctuary policy in your specific jurisdiction, your city, your state. Maybe there's less federal funds that are going to come because of the crazy policies you've adopted. I think that gets people's attention. I think that will get a governor's attention. That will get a mayor's attention. So I think that's something we should look at here in the Congress.
Well, Congressman Jim Jordan, appreciate all you do. Thank you for being here.
You bet. Thanks for all your good work. Take care.
That will do it for this episode of Liz Collin Reports. We'll see you next time.